Now in this video we're going to be talking about how you can revalue or add more value to your existing PLR content, whether or not it's an ebook, even a video, or something that you're redoing. And it's part of a series called PLR Comprehensive. And in this particular video we're talking about how you're going to be able to reposition or redo your content. First, always start with Good PLR. Anytime you have a good base to work from, what we're going to be talking about is going to be much easier to do, and you're going to be able to make it make sense to the reader without a lot of work. In some cases, you don't want to buy PLR where you are going to have to do so much that you might as well have written it yourself. And really, creating interesting content that others are going to share isn't difficult. It does take a little work, and the work is worth it because you are going to be able to build a following, and you're going to have people who are going to be on the lookout for your content. Now, PLR is going to be redone, or should be redone, in the following pattern that I'm going to be telling you about in this video. And this pattern is actually executed by most public speakers, ministers, and even politicians. And you'll see it when you listen to speeches. You'll see it for those of you who attend religious services. You listen to a sermon. For those of you who attend public speakers, you will hear this pattern over and over and over again. And you can actually repeat this pattern throughout anything that you write, any book, any podcast, anything that you want to make original or sellable. And you can also do it, you can use it to do the kind of webinars that lead to collaborations. In other words, this is a way that you can actually get people involved in what you're doing. I'll talk about that at the end of this video. Now, let's talk about how you're going to reposition the content. Well, you might have a particular book. You might have a particular section of that book. You might be talking about a particular chapter. Well, those should all have themes, and those themes should be something that they should be big ideas. They should be something that really give the reader something to think about. And this should be the reason that you write the book, the reason that you have decided to write this section of the book, the reason that you have decided to write this chapter of the book. Take your basic theme in any one of those areas and make it the big idea. For instance, here's one of those big ideas, and I just really made this up for the sake of this tutorial. Okay, so a big idea, if I were doing a video, or if I were doing a book on social media, that social media is branding and selling mixed together. Now, that could be my opinion, that could be the consensus, but it's a big idea, right? So it's not just that social media is cool, it's not just that social media is working for everybody, it's an idea. It's something that says something, it's a unique idea that says something different about social media. Now, the first thing that you want to do with that theme, given that theme in the section, let's say you're writing within the chapter, you want to state a principle. You want to state a thesis or a hypothesis. Okay, social media supports SEO. That's a hypothesis, right? You could say, well, you know what? That's pretty established, Charles. That's not a theory. But regardless, you want to state a principle. And social media supports SEO. That's the kind of principle that you would want to state. And then you want to apply that principle. So how would we apply social media supports SEO? Then we want to discuss how social media can support a business like your customers. So the people who are going to be reading your book or your ebook or your content, you want to start discussing, okay, now how is it going to fit their kind of business? So if you're talking to barbers, how does social media support the SEO of a barber? If you're talking about a small business, how does social media support a business like that barber? So we're talking about tangible examples. Right, so here's one thing. It raises rankings, right? So social media raises rankings. Now again, I just made this up for the sake of this video, but you get the idea. You are applying the principle to something that the reader is going to know, that they're going to see, that they're going to be involved in. Here's another tangible example. It causes more pages on a site to be findable. So in other words, because social media is one of those things that causes pages to be indexed more, then it is a way that social media really does support the SEO of the people who are reading it. So we've applied the principle. So we've given them a new principle, and we've applied that principle to a business, their business, or business that they would recognize. Then what we want to do is we want to illustrate it, right? We want to illustrate that by giving them a live example, something that they can see in business, something that they can refer to, something that is well known. The more well known the illustration, the better. Pepsi started using SEO, received more website loyal visitors. So in other words, not just visitors, but people who are loyal to their brand, people and those website visits directly correlated to more sales. Again, it is an illustration. So in other words, we tell a story about the principle. We tell a story about how it's applied. We tell a story so that it gives people the opportunity to really get into your content. What you'll find is that even if you are delivering content over the course of over the course of 3-4 pages or 5 minutes or so, you're going to find that this strategy or this way of writing, first of all, it's easier to write. Second of all, it makes it easier to make your content unique, and it's going to make it so that your PLR is going to be more entertaining, and it's actually going to be the kind of PLR that people are going to want to share and get you more leads. Okay, and really, you're going to notice whether it's the principle, the application, or the illustration, each of those layers underscores the theme or the chapter of the book. So in other words, we come back to that theme. And so social media is branding. So when we say social media is branding and selling, right, we talk about how raising rankings comes back to the theme. We talk about how more pages on the site is related to the theme. We talk about how the illustration we gave, we bring that back to the theme. And so each one of these layers, we relate it back to the theme. And we keep doing this over and over and over again. This is really how you make content unique, because the illustration is going to be yours. You can find it in business. You can find it on the internet pretty much by doing a little research. The application should be yours. It should be how you understand it. And what PLR is it's the principles. PLR gives you the principles. It gives you the statement. It gives them new information. Now, good PLR might go as far as to apply, and in some cases it might illustrate. But you can then turn those applications and illustrations into your own in order to make it unique. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video.